Did you know that I have tried to record this video at least 4 separate times, and yet none of those times really came across clearly? So I've decided for this video that I'm just going to speak as casual as I can and keep things as less complicated and more like straightforward, like I'm talking just to a friend or obviously all to myself, just so I can make this clear and concise. If you're here, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a painful process to try to record the video, but just record, I guess, what I was feeling. And to be honest, I mean, I can't tell you necessarily what I was feeling, only, I guess, what I wanted to talk about. And all I really wanted to talk about was my findings on existential crises and how they can be averted or at least managed. I recently watched a video by Flowers Are Blooming. If you know her, awesome. If you don't, check her out. She got me on this weird thought train because she spoke in the video a lot about Kierkegaard, which is a philosopher. And I hope I didn't butcher the name, but I'm pretty sure it's Kierkegaard. A good God. I don't know. There's beef over the last part of how to say his name. But he is just another philosopher of the ages where he just presented some amazing questions to ask the self. If you allow me to pause, I'm actually going to get my book just so I can re-explain them. The need to conquer our relationship with existence puts us in a place where we cannot tolerate any uncertainty of our own. That's just an example of the type of questions he would ask. He portrays these dynamics of life with characters. The ethical man and the aesthetic man was a very popular known characters. And I mean, I write a lot in here. But really, what I was writing about was just like uncertainty and finding uncertainty in life and how to navigate life with retaining some uncertainty so you're not left astray on someone's proven 100% guarantee going to give you the happiest life path. You know? Because telling that to someone is almost just like a fantasy. Like, that is non-existent. Life requires a certain amount of uncertainty because the future is just far too dark to see. That's a Star Wars quote with Yoda. I forget what movie it was where they go in the conference room and they're like talking to Yoda. And he's like, well, the future is too dark to see. Because it's true, you cannot see too far into the future. It's always going to be too dark. And that will always leave you ultimately in the dark. There's going to be uncertainty. But learning how to navigate uncertainty is far better than not avoiding it at all costs. Like, it's a plague, which people do. Like, it's a real thing. People will do anything to avoid uncertainty because they don't want to have to feel the feelings of knowing that they actually don't know what to do. But not knowing what to do is almost a prerequisite upon finding your own way of knowing what to do. If that makes any sense, as it does with me. Existence itself is a strange phenomena in which we live in. You can break it down with metaphysics. You can lead a life with the church. You can go in any which way, and any which way is still only a path, let's say. It's not the answer to the whole entire world in which it brings. Even I, honestly, I do get caught in the trap of going on YouTube to find, let's say, some some, I don't know, some meaning, which isn't all wrong, but it's like I'm almost throwing my meaning towards my own life to an external things, which isn't necessarily the wrong thing to do, but to be the sole reason why you do a thing or why you lead a life in this way would be from your external validation of things. In that external validation being something as fleeting as an Instagram or threads comment sections, like you have to take a second and reevaluate, at that point, like what are you waning your existence off of? What does your existence even compose of in the first place? Like these are things to ask. The whole premise for living life isn't necessarily supposed to be this the loopholes, or I don't know, I guess just the footnotes of threads or whatever, what have you, Facebook comment sections, or even the content you consume, which is the main, of social media. Life's supposed to be something that you ultimately figure out. And that comes from almost your own philosophies, from your own ability to critical think is what philosophy tries, strive towards. But like the life philosophy of figuring things out comes from your own almost knowingness of life. And the conclusion that Flowers Are Blooming came to was like you have to experience life in order to know how to deal with life. So there's a certain grain of time that has to play through everything. There's almost like a flow that you have to act according with. I would dare say, at least in my life, that you have to work with. And this flow is comprised of both the good times and the bad times. So it's not ever going to be 100% perfect. It's not going to be this idolized, like number one spot picture of someone's Instagram, vibe all the time. It's going to be like the first picture they ever made and the last one they ever made, The whole composition of who you are is your whole composition. It's all the years in which you have lived. It's not just the best years that you wish to have and shoot for more, This whole web of life that we live is everything. And that also includes uncertainty. And stepping forward with uncertainty is, just like the quote I said, like it's too dark. Like I can't read the future. How am I supposed to know? Mind my dog. He was whining over there. He's a disaster. Just right there, like he's just another example of like there's so much you cannot control in life. Try owning a dog. Try owning a cat. You cannot control a cat or a dog. You can neither control the flies buzzing in the background. Like, there's already so much you're powerless against in this life. And it's almost it's crazed almost to say that one needs to become a tyrant over life to control life in order to experience life in its highest fashions. Or, I don't know, the ethical man, which Kierkegaard, references to, is the man who lives only with, supreme, virtues and morals and lives life, almost in this righteous way. The ascetic man is only searching for pleasures. So he's, only looking for kind of just that, that surface feel good, dopamine, rush that you could say we ought to like to live, but obviously know that it's not really going to go anywhere. These pathways are just, I think, really just antidotal to, I think what Kierkegaard was trying to reference to is antidotal to the paths in which we choose, dare I say. And your choice of what you value dictates on where you go. But some things are out of your control. That's what I really am trying to hence on. Some things are out of your control. And I think that's okay. I think it's absolutely okay to not have control over things, because the more you can let go of what you cannot control, the more you actually focus on what you can control. The more often than not, the things you can control is like yourself, your body, your functions, when you eat, when you wake up, what you clean, what work do you do, what work do you not do, what people do you avoid, what books do you read, what music do you listen to, how do you treat your own thoughts, do you actually take care of yourself or do you not? How do you see yourself in the mirror, do you actually write your thoughts down, or you just feel like, I'll write them down sometimes, you know, like things within your realm of control. These things are the things you ought to have, at least know. You should know. So I have just a little bit, slow down, I have just a little bit of writing here. And it says that the extent of my understandings will only go as far as the extent of my actions. That was a little bit that I wrote about after that video that I watched. And I think that pairs up nicely with what I just said, like you only go as far as you go within yourself or what you do. And your understandings ultimately only reach the point of the place in which you are willing to go to. And really, life in that view is the extent of your curiosity to act upon it. And I feel like that's beautiful, because you become the chooser, I guess, of what your life really wants to be, of how far you want to take it, about where you're going to curate it, what things you will do with it. And it's almost in this way that you become your own authenticator of your own life. And that comes with, a little bit of like, whoa, what am I going to do? How am I going to create it? It comes with a little bit of fear. But you have the power to overcome that within you already. So you shouldn't let fear destabilize your whole, ability to create, your whole ability to attend and contend with the world, which you probably can. So you really don't want to offshore your own life to someone else who doesn't even know what your life is or what it's composed of. Because I don't think they went to, unless they're a childhood friend, they didn't go to the same school you did. They don't have the same life experiences that you do. It's just, you cannot compare. Being in an existential crisis is viewed and I think met by a lot of people in the Gen Z often, because arguably we are living in tumultuous times with strange things just happening. That's all I'm going to say. Strange. But amongst all the strange and terrifying things which do come about, we can find, I guess, a break of peace in our own control, our own ability to combat this profound world we live in. And that comes with like the understanding that we just talked about already. Just use that to strengthen your own existence, let's say, and then you become a bit more sturdier to the winds of time, and people don't throw you off as much. You don't get ticked off so much, and you just become more complacent and peaceful. And can you ask for anything better than that? I don't really think you can, but if you want to, I mean, go ahead. Existence is always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be something you have to define. But as long as you continue to define it, you'll be good. And that's all I have to say. That's, that's all. That's all. So I thank you. I thank you. This was it's a hard bit to get out, but I'm glad I got it out. I just had to speak it. If you resonated, just, I don't know, drop me a like or a comment, please. I don't get many of them. And until next time, I'll talk to you.